the Nuggets are going to the NBA Finals. What a crushing finish for the Lakers.
We had a great run, but we fell short of our goal. And our goal is to win championships. That's what this franchise is about. I like to say it's a successful year because I don't play for anything besides winning championships. I don't get a kick out of making a conference appearance. But we'll see. We'll see what happens going forward. I got a lot to think about, to be honest. Just for me personally, going forward with the game of basketball, got a lot to think about.
The Lakers were eliminated on Monday, and since those comments that you just heard, questions have been swirling about LeBron James's future. So let's bring in the man who spoke to LeBron James himself, our NBA reporter, Dave McMenamin. Now that we're 5 days removed, Dave, what more can you tell us about James's future?
Well, Malika, I spoke to a source close to LeBron earlier in the week, and he described it as just a raw time for LeBron. Anytime he has a season that ends where he's not lifting up the Larry O'Brien trophy at the end of it, he has all sorts of thoughts swirl through his head. But I spoke to another source on Thursday who's close to LeBron, and he said that he fully expects LeBron to be back for next year. He said, he's under contract. He's going to fulfill his contract. And so, certainly I believe on Monday night, it was a very real statement he was making. He was considering walking away in that moment, but it sounds like we will see him back with the Lakers next year.
So basketball fans can breathe a little sigh of relief here, Dave. But with that being said and that in mind, there are still some decisions that the Lakers are going to have to make this summer. In an article, you outlined it on ESPN.com. Can you just take us through those different scenarios here?
Yeah, so basically there's 3 different pathways here, Malika, and they all involve trying to figure out what they're going to do at point guard. D'Angelo Russell really struggled in the Western Conference Finals against the Denver Nuggets. He was benched in Game 4. Prior to that, he did not have the type of production that got them to that point. You offer D'Angelo Russell an extension somewhere in the $18 to $23 million range, depending on the contract length. You pick up the option on Jared Vanderbilt for next year, and you negotiate extensions with both Rui Hachimura and Austin Reeves, who are both restricted free agents. So that's pathway 1. Pathway 2, you let D'Angelo Russell walk. You pick up the options on guys like Malik Beasley, Mo Bamba. That gives you about $27 million of salary to play with. To go after a guy like Kyrie Irving, maybe Fred VanVleet, DeJounte Murray. So that's pathway 2. And it's way more complicated because the number that any of those players would seek could totally sabotage any potential deal. Number 3, you kind of split the difference. So you're going to re-sign Rui Hachimura, you're going to re-sign Austin Reeves, you're going to let some of those other guys come off the books, and they're going to free up some cap space, and you're going to use it on Dennis Schroeder with your full non-taxpayer mid-level exception. And then Dennis Schroeder becomes your starting point guard. But, that's kind of wrapping it up in a quick soundbite, but there are 3 very different pathways, and they got to figure out which way they want to go.
Yeah, decisions, but we know the grind doesn't stop. The Lakers have off-season workouts today. Dave McMenamin, thank you so much for spending some time with us here on NBA Today. All right, take a look at this. These are the Lakers free agents because they've got some decisions to make. D'Angelo Russell, Dennis Schroeder, Lonnie Walker, all unrestricted. And then 2 big pieces that are restricted, Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura. And then they also have a team option on Malik Beasley. So, Ramona, Dave just laid out the options for us. You know this team well. Should they run it back? Should they shake it up? Should they go after a big star? Please help.
I think you have to split the difference here. I think you got to focus on bringing back Austin Reeves and Rui Hachimura.
Okay.
But the rest of the roster, you can get creative. And I think we've talked about this a lot, but we haven't quite felt the effects of the new collective bargaining agreement. What they do going forward is going to be very important to whether or not they get over or under what's going to be called the second apron. Don't worry about the second apron, CBA stuff. I know people's eyes roll when you hear that. That is a hard cap. Okay? And the second apron is going to become a problem for teams like the Lakers, where Anthony Davis is due for a big extension come August, where LeBron James already has $97 million in 2 years left on his contract if he decides to come back. And depending on what they do with D'Angelo Russell, with Hachimura, with Austin Reeves, this team gets very expensive. The reason we say this is a hard cap is even though it's not called a hard cap, It's going to restrict your ability to improve the roster to such an extent that you will not be able to build a team. So teams like right now, Golden State and the Clippers, they're facing that already. The Lakers, depending on how they play this offseason, could be right up against that second apron.
Should they bring back D'Lo?
No, you can't bring him back. Anytime you get benched in a closeout game and the team got swept, I was just looking at the roster and thinking, if they're going to be a contending team again, their point guard isn't currently on the team. I would bring back Rui. He could possibly be a starter. I like Austin Reeves with the Lakers, but as a player, he has to recognize his money is right now running with LeBron and AD. He may be able to get more of a bigger bag from somewhere else, but I would suggest he continues to stay here, even if it's for less money. But for D'Lo, you can't bring him back. He's still obviously a valuable NBA player and has a chance to, redeem himself, but it can't be here. It can't be in purple and gold.
Sometimes it's not just the player, it's the fit, Austin.
Yeah, situation's everything in the league. It's predicates all success for all of us is being in the right situation. For me, I think the Lakers are in a good spot. You have LeBron James still showing that he's one of the top players in the world. His last game, he just had 40. I think the big question for them is Anthony Davis.
Thank you.
I think this summer has to be his most important summer that he's had. And I know that says a lot because he's, but he's still 30. We're the same age. We came in the same class, same team together. I think he still has a lot left in the tank. There's got to be more hunger there. I want him to come back healthy. They have tradable assets. They do have some good role players that they can re-sign. They just went to the conference finals, and they were in the play-in game a couple weeks ago. This year is a success in my book. If they come back healthy, AD, it has to be the biggest question, though, for them.
And I'm glad you brought him up because we're watching the team right now in the Miami Heat showing that you actually could get it done if your leaders are able to rise to the occasion. And it's not fair to put it all on a 38-year-old that's going to be 39 next year, LeBron James. Again, it's going to come down to Anthony Davis. And I do think you could get it done with Rui. I do think you should consider re-signing Tristan Thompson. He played 10 minutes, but his 10 minutes of game 4 were more impactful than AD minutes when he was on the floor the entire time.
Oh, wait.
So, no, it
Go ahead,
was.
whole time?
The whole time, because what I saw, they were down. When Tristan came into the game, I saw him take contact, change the game, finish at the basket with authority, and all of a sudden you had a tied ball game. And I actually thought Darvin Ham should have rolled with him. I'm not saying you should go out and max Tristan out. Vet minimum, bring him back. I just think
Insurance.
I just think that Tristan could also be a guy that pushes AD every single day at practice, and that's something that he needs.
But also, one of the main issues that the Lakers are going to continue to have is LeBron's going to be 39, and AD, while he's 30, both of those guys are going to miss multiple games during the season. And what ends up happening is you become a lower seed. And it's hard to win the championship if you're coming from the 7th spot, the 8th spot. You got to go against the top teams so very early in the playoffs. That's their issue. How many games is AD going to play? And respectfully, we are going to say if he can stay healthy, if he can stay healthy, if he's going to stay healthy. So what is that, 60 games? Right?
That'd be best case.
So I will say this, Anthony Davis, starting on August 4th, he is eligible to sign a 3-year, $167.5 million extension.
I'm the Lakers. What you say? Ain't going to be able to do it.
Yeah, I'm not going to be able to do it.
I think you have to do it.
No, you don't.
You have to lock up AD. Otherwise, you're going to start hearing about, are they going to trade him? Does he want to leave? You have to give him that security if you're really building around him.
Well, last time I checked, it is May, so we have a couple more months, and we get to continue to check in on this. Something that is much more pressing, though, is Game 6 between the Celtics and the Heat.
That's going to be their continued issue.
I don't know, Jalen.
You can't get value for AD if you trade him. You got to pay him if he's in uniform, and he's going to miss multiple games.
Have you voted yet, Jalen? Do you think that the Celtics comeback is a better story, or is it the Heat as an 8th seed make it to the NBA Finals? If you think about it, both of those paths are wild. Vote. We'll let you know later up in the show.
Though.
We are going to head, though, down to South Beach for a live report from Miami ahead of this.